I'm Heather Conley, Director of the Europe Program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. The coronavirus pandemic has devastated Europe, particularly for Italy and Spain. I believe there are 7 tests that the pandemic has posed for Europe. The first test was in the humanitarian area. As Italy was devastated by the coronavirus, it reached out to its other member states to ask for emergency humanitarian assistance for protective masks and other medical equipment. Unfortunately, other EU member states did not respond to Italy, and that allowed and encouraged other countries, such as Russia and China, to provide Italy with humanitarian assistance. Thankfully, EU member states understood that this was not the right response and then provided protective masks and helped ease and facilitate the overstressed Italian hospitals. The second test was on coordination of border closures and lockdown procedures. Here again, the European Union did not coordinate that. Individual countries made their own national decisions about when to close their borders and when to impose lockdown measures on their populations. The third test that's been the most visible is the European Union and the European Central Bank providing economic and financial support to the pandemic-stricken countries, particularly for Italy and Spain. Here, an enormous amount of firepower has been brought to bear, but if additional measures are needed, the European Union is going to have to revisit a very divisive question, and that is the creation of Euro bonds or Corona bonds, which is debt mutualization, meaning the debt of one Eurozone member is the debt of the other. And this is something that the Northern European countries, Germany and the Netherlands, Austria and Finland in particular, do not agree to. That will be a big test for Europe. The fourth test, democracy. Here, very specifically in the case of Hungary and the Hungarian government, democracy is failing. The government has issued an emergency decree during the pandemic, which has no end date, which has no judicial supervision, really no effective parliament decision and oversight. And thus far, the European Union's response has been quite silent. The fifth test is leadership. Here, individual EU leaders such as Angela Merkel, French President Emmanuel Macron, Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, they've stepped forward. Others have struggled, certainly UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson suffering from coronavirus. This has also impacted the Spanish government, a very new and very fragile minority government, and we're starting to see the strains of politics in the initial response to the pandemic. The sixth test has been geopolitics, and again, we've seen where China and Russia trying to use both their soft power in the humanitarian form, but also seeing Russia use disinformation. So we're understanding that great power competition doesn't end at the pandemic. We're seeing it being used as a unique tool. The seventh and final test is really about the future. Can it decide on a new ambitious agenda? Will all those funds be used simply for pandemic recovery, or will they be used for their ambitions, such as the new Green Deal and the digital economy? And again, getting back to those Euro bonds and Corona bonds. If in fact that additional support is needed, will they agree to debt mutualization, or will this issue strain the EU to a breaking point?